not like a huge delay. So that's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of, you see
oh,
there's like
that's
a
kind
little,
of neat. Live on Facebook.
it says we're live. I never know for sure if we are,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Where are we?
yeah. We're gonna be
Oh,
on,
hang on. Oh, yeah, yeah,
did
yeah.
you find
Okay.
us?
Yes, I did.
Yay! Maybe everybody else will find us too.
Yeah. The seance has started, everybody.
Right.
Can
Can
you
you hear
hear
us?
us?
Are we here?
Oh, there is a
Say
delay.
something so we know that you're here.
Oh, this is kind of annoying. I can hear like,
Oh yeah, you have to turn it down.
yeah, I have to turn it down. Okay, that's better.
All right.
Who,
So
let's see, who's
um
joining us?
let's see. Oh, yay. Hello,
Oh,
Hannah. Hello, Iosif. So can
hi
you put in
guys.
comments too? This technology, I tell ya. So hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. I'm here with Devi Mamak, and we're definitely going to get into all of the things, all things Devi today. But
Oh
just before
boy.
we get before we get started, I just wanted to make a few little announcements and introduce myself. So hello, my name is Deanna. I'm the director of Prana Belly Dance and Yoga. Hi. And also the owner of Fat Chance Belly Dance Style University, also known as FCBDU. And it's a pretty new online school. We've been around, we opened on summer solstice. And so just about 3 or 4 months, constantly growing, always growing. It's a place where you can go and get instruction on everything related to Fat Chance Belly Dance style. And it has everything from technique to drills, to live classes, makeup, costuming, lectures, all of the things, plus guest instructors, of course. And our latest guest instructor is Devi Mamak, which some of you might know, some of you might not. So welcome, Devi. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I was just saying to Deanna before, I'm so glad we're actually having like a chat because I hate doing those live feeds where you just got to talk to yourself and hope that people are chiming in. So I'm excited. We're just having a chat, and some of you guys are going to ask questions, and that kind of feels natural and fun. So
Yeah, we're
thanks
totally
for
here for a
having me.
good time. Absolutely. So some people might not know you. I don't know how that's possible, but we do have a lot of people that are newer to the scene. So can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about you and where you are and how you found this dance style?
Oh, that's a funny story actually. So I live in the Blue Mountains in Australia, which is in New South Wales. It's just a little west of Sydney. And I live in I'm very lucky to live on 3 acres right in the bush. We don't call it the forest here. We don't call it forest. We call it the bush.
The
So
bush.
I live right in the bush. But it's a really quick trip to Sydney by Australian standards. Anyway, and I discovered Fat Chance Belly Dance style, geez, probably around about 96. And I was studying belly dance with my first teacher, Kaya Seaton. I'm still really close with Kaya. She doesn't dance anymore, but we still have lunch every now and again, which is really nice. And she was very much into like folkloric Egyptian style. So that's like my first genre of belly dance. And it was time to put on a show, and we wanted some new costumes. So we had a video afternoon. It wasn't DVDs back then; it was videos. So we had a video. We had a video
VHS.
afternoon. We had like Egyptian belly dancers, and stars from Egypt and stars from Turkey, and there was a video that had done the rounds in Australia. It had been taped off a tape, off a tape, off a tape. So it was really grainy, and it was the Fat Chance Belly Dance live video, and that was my first time seeing anything Fat Chance Belly Dance. And I remember it was Jill and Rena. That was the first thing that popped up because I think the first part of the video had just died. And so that was the first image, and they were facing each other, and they were so in sync that I thought it was one dancer like dancing in a mirror at first, and then I noticed that they were different people, and I was like, oh my God. they are like so in sync, and it totally blew my mind. And then the other thing, of course, that captured my attention was the hands.
Mm.
Because in Egyptian style, I always felt like kind of awkward. I never know where to put them or what to do with them. And I just thought that the hands were such a feature, and I just fell in love with that. So anyway, I asked my teacher, Kaya, at the time, I said, what is that? Tell me about this. And she said, oh, well, it's just a group of dancers, and they live in America, and they all live together in a caravan. This is the urban myth. They all live together in a caravan, and they travel around America performing together, and they tattoo each other.
That was the myth that was going around. That's kind of a really amazing. I wish, right?
That was the myth. And I was going, wow, that's amazing. I wonder if I could ever learn with them, and and I don't think we chose something out of that costume at the time, but not totally. And then what happened, I sort of put it out of my mind because, she said, well, there's no one doing it here, and well, we don't really know about it, blah, blah, blah. And so I just continued. And then a few years later, it was 1999, because I was actually born in San Francisco. I was actually born there, and I got family there. So I wanted to go and visit my dad. And literally it was kind of like an afterthought. I was like, oh, I think that troupe might be like kind of based there when they park their caravans. So I didn't even have internet back then. I did not have the internet, but my dad did. So I wrote him a letter, because we weren't even like calling much back then. I wrote him a letter and told him a little bit about, this troupe, blah, blah, blah. And if he could try and find them for me. And he sent me in the mail like all these pages, which I think I still have actually, of all the different pages. And then I remember that like Suhaila was there, and all these different troupes were there, and I was like, no, I just want to learn with that troupe. And then I actually wrote Carolina a letter, and she wrote me one back like months later. And I just said, I'm from Australia, and I'm coming to visit, because I was like there for like 3 months. And, I just want to come, and is it okay? And I don't know anything. And she said, that's fine. Seeing you're from overseas, you can just take all of them and just sit in and just soak it in. And so that's what I did. That's how it all started.
Nice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a story. I have not heard that was a rumor about the caravan, and they travel around and they tattoo each other. I mean, I feel like that is kind of Carolina when she talks about intentional community. That's kind of like her dream would be, I think, she can chime in here.
I don't know how that myth started. I don't know. And it was before the days of, internet and YouTube and everything. So, people could make up stuff, and we just go, yeah, that happened,
But it totally sounds like something that could happen because of just the way that they were so in sync with each other, and they're all tattooed, and they all kind of like the aesthetic, for sure wasn't something that you'd see every day, so yeah. I can totally see how that would be the case. So,
yeah.
Very cool. And so you studied there for a few months, sorry.
Yeah, I was there for a few months, and I remember my very first class. Actually, I remember that Anita was there, and she was in the beginner's class at the time. She probably wouldn't remember me, and I had no idea how everyone knew how to turn at the same time, because I had no idea that it was, there was cues and all that kind of thing. And I didn't know until, because I bought all the videos. I still have all my videos. I own all the videos, the VHS. I bought all the videos, and the very first thing, because my partner, he was kind of, hadn't seen me for 3 months. The very first thing I did was, when I walked in the door after 3 months, is I put the video in I was like, I gotta watch this. I'll talk to you later.
Oh my gosh. That's when right then he knew, like, oh my gosh, my wife, I'm second in her life for a little while.
Well, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Anyway, and so, yeah, I didn't realize that there was cues. I didn't kind of catch that in the class. I went to all the classes, but there was so much information, and when you start learning, your brain can only take a certain amount of information at a time, and I just kind of missed that part, or maybe I was going to more intermediate classes, so they didn't discuss that, or for whatever reason I missed it, and I didn't quite get it until I took home the VHSs and filled in all the blanks, you know.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Mm-hmm.
so fascinating. And I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, after, I mean, back in the 90s, everything was still kind of staying in San Francisco. Like Carolina had the VHS
Mm-hmm.
tapes. She wasn't really, I don't think she was traveling. She was just
No, well, I
doing
asked
everything
her.
else.
I asked her straight away. She didn't even. There was no space then. She was working out at different churches and places, and I said, would you consider coming out? And even for me as an Australian dancer, no one was hosting anyone back then. Like
Right.
it just wasn't. No one did that. And she said no, she couldn't. She felt that everyone in San Francisco needed her. So I brought Karen Gurman out in 2002 when my troupe was already, I guess we were like 2 years old or something like that, because Carolina wasn't traveling back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did a little bit with Karen, as much as I did with Carolina at the time.
Yeah. Nice. And
Mm.
so still doing it, still have Ghawazi Caravan. Is this year is a 20-year anniversary of Ghawazi Caravan?
It
So
is.
congratulations.
I know. I know. And some of them have been with me since day one.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Oh, I miss
So
that.
it must be doing something, right?
Right? Yeah. Well, I always love to watch you all. Of course, I met you. I think the very first time I met you was when we were filming volume 9.
Right.
That's actually when I learned your steps, was like watching you teach them while the DVD was going, or being filmed, and I got to meet some of your wonderful dancers there as well. And that was a good time. I always love that. And then devotion, of course, we spent a couple of devotions
Yeah.
together, and I just always love the originality and just the grace and the elegance and all of the beautiful aesthetically pleasing fusing of all of the inspiration that you have put into your dance style and into your movements. And it's just so mesmerizing. I still remember the devotion that we did at, oh gosh, the bigger theater, not the one where we were all crammed in the back, but like the bigger theater. And you all were doing like this circle where your backs were together, your shoulders were touching, and you did this like really cool circle where the back of the circle was going up and the bottom of the circle was going down. And it just, gosh, it was just so beautiful. It was just like a trance, like watching you all go around. And
Yeah, we call that the sea anemone.
the sea anemone, yeah, that's what it was like,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like all the little, not
Uh-huh.
tentacles, but yeah. All of,
Yeah, it's such a simple concept. Um, but I do teach that at workshops sometimes, and people find it really difficult because they try and make it quite a lot bit more than it actually is, and it's just got to be actually really slow and really simple to be effective. And
really,
the more you try and put yeah, the more you try and put in it, it just becomes a mess. But yeah, we haven't done that for a while. We should pull that out again, actually.
yeah,
It's
it's so cool. It just makes you see how in sync you all really are, because you're pretty much, I mean, you've been dancing, a lot of you all have been dancing together for so long, and you just made it look so seamless, as if like this is a thing that we always do, and it was just so beautiful. I remember
yeah,
that
but
before.
we still rehearse, every Wednesday. So, we used to. I can't believe we used to go for 4 hours, but now we're old, so like 2 hours and we're like done. But we still get together, every Wednesday.
Nice. That's so
Yeah.
good. That's kind of
Hmm.
how, I mean, when I first started dancing, of course we had our own studio, so that was really helpful, but it was like 3 or 4 times a week for 2 or 3 hours each time.
Yeah.
And you're just like putting it all in and putting it all in. And then
Hmm.
as you start getting a little older, you're like, okay, I can practice these things on my own and actually like stay
Uh-huh.
home at night and then go in and practice, yeah, together as a group a couple of nights a
Yeah,
week.
but it's interesting. Some people just really need that. I don't know. They just seem to be able to practice better in a group for whatever reason. It stays in their memory more or whatever. I don't know. But no, we still, rain, hell, or shine. Most of the time, we're there every Wednesday. you know, often we go in our pajamas, often we eat cake at the same time. But I think that's why, you know, we're not in each other's pockets all the time, but we all get along really well. And you know, we have moments where we, you know, we have socials and things like that. But I think we have a really great balance, and yeah, we're all close. It's nice.
Nice. I think that's really important. So, I mean, I'm sure you know, and I'm sure that you feel it with your troupe, but we're just kind of like, we just all know each other's family. Yeah, we're not in each other's business, but like we know each other's family. We know when it's
Yeah,
kids' birthdays, and we have, yeah, we celebrate with birthday parties and cakes, and let's
yeah,
have movie night, and let's play, you know, Guitar Hero or whatever,
yeah, yeah.
and hang out. And I think that that really, yeah, I think that that's really good for the morale of the group and the
I
connection.
think so. I think so. I went through a phase thinking, you know, like a lot of artists think, and you know, certain bands think this way too. Being a musician, it's like, well, you go in there, you do your thing, you don't actually have to get along, and you know, you get out there, and I'm like, for me, I get that mentality, you know, and if everyone's good at what they do, but for me, I think I work so much better if I have the same moral compass as the people I'm working with, and we're on the same plane. That's just the type of person I am. I have to have some sort of connection with the people that I'm working with for it to really work, and for the audience to go, oh yeah, they sound great or they look great. For me, there has to be that connection.
Yeah, 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 I agree.
Mm.
And I see
Hmm.
people saying like, "Oh, we don't have to get along. We can just like get together and do our thing and then leave." And yes, you totally can.
Yeah.
But think
Mhm.
about how much better it would be if you all
Yeah,
actually enjoyed your company together and wanted to get together and wanted to
exactly.
practice. So,
Yeah, I wish I could perform as well under those circumstances. I really do, but I just can't. I'm just not wired that way. You know.
I need that connection.
Yeah.
I'm going to check with the
Hmm.
comments really fast before we keep
Oh
going.
yeah, yeah.
So,
Let's see what they're saying.
hello, Cher, and hello, Seoli. Hello, Gina. And Malai, Chrissy. Hello, Pilar and Cindy. Hello, Glenda from Canada. So we have Canada, we have all over the US.
Hey.
We have Peru with us today. We have Germany.
Oh wow.
Hello,
I'm looking.
Melina. And Carrie. Hello, Carrie. And hi, Marta. Marta says, hi, Debbie.
Yeah. Hi. I'm saying hi to everyone. I'm just looking. Oh, my head looks really squished in on the phone.
Oh,
It's
no.
weird. No, it does on my phone. Here I look fine, but on here, it's whatever. It's weird.
I know it's like the angles and the lighting and all of the things, right?
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh. Okay, so I loved what you said earlier about the hands. So you were saying how when you were watching the VHS, the tapes, the videos back then, you were mesmerized by the fact that their hands were in sync. It's like they had an intentional movement with their hands, because as a cabaret dancer, you're like, I don't know what to do. And I was just having this conversation the other day, because of course I love to watch all different styles of dance. And it's really interesting how so many dancers that I see, they look like they don't know what to do with their arms. You know,
Yeah.
like, and they're taking away from the hip movements because they don't, and it's beautiful, of course, but it's so different from our like intentional movement of the arms and how we stay all together. And it really is mesmerizing. Like when people say, wow, even your fingers were in sync, and it's because of the way that we teach it and we work with it. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I love, I mean, there's so many, but some of the things that I love about the movements, the dialect that you came out with for FCBD style are the intentional hands and the intentional floreos and the movements. So can you talk a little bit about the inspiration, not necessarily just with the hands, but the inspiration about some of the movements, specifically on volume 9, since that's where we are kind of talking about for a little while anyway.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know, when you guys watch the videos that I created for FCBDU, that I do actually talk about that, because I get asked so many questions about that. And for people that know me, I love to do choreography, and I love group improv. I love them both equally. I can't decide. And one of the reasons why I love choreography is because the music is always the boss, and the music will tell me what to do. And before I know it, I'm doing something else that I've never done before because the music tells me. And then I, you know, by working with it and tweaking it, then I can create like a standard move, and I can set it and go, this is where the hands are, and blah blah blah. So that's why I love choreography. But usually, and I don't know why this is, but when I'm doing a choreography, I usually have old movies running in my head. I think they had a really big impact on me as a child. Usually the Ray Harryhausen films, you know, Clash of the Titans, you know, the Sinbad movies. I loved all those films. Sometimes they're old spaghetti westerns. Occasionally it will be architecture or art, but it's not just the music. So the music is the first thing, and then from there I have images in my head of these movies most of the time that then actually turn into a physical manifestation of what I'm hearing.
That's
So
fantastic.
I
Yeah,
don't know
yeah. So
why
like
it's
the
like
music
that. It's
triggers a memory or something of a
right. I think that's what happens. Yeah, it's like, oh, that music sounds like, you know, like for the Medusa. The reason why it's called Medusa is because the music that we were choreographing to, which was a solace piece, reminded me of the scene in Medusa's lair. And at the time, we were a really large troupe, and it just looked like there was too many of us in the chorus line. So what I did instead was, because I had this movie of Clash of the Titans in my head, I had this image of like just maybe 3 dancers at a time being in little clumps around the stage, and they were like the statues because Medusa had looked at them, and we had all these, you know, these pretty stationary poses like this or like this. And then I was like, wonder how I could string them together and into a movement. You know, so that's, you know,
I love it.
yeah. And there's lots of kind of funny stories of how, you know, movement sort of came about, or how the movement dialects came about for volume 9 or anything. And it's not usually like I have an idea. It's not like, okay, I really want to create movement dialect now. It's not. I'm a little bit more organic, you know, than that. And people said, oh, you know, you should create a whole format, and that just stresses me out. I don't.
Yeah, me too.
You know, Carolina's done that. I don't want to do that. You know, I just see what happens, you know, and if nothing happens, then I'll move on to something else, you know.
Yeah. I do love, so I've been watching, of course, all the videos that you, or the video that you've sent in, that's like all the slow stuff so far. And I love the stories. And I know that like I've had a private lesson with you, and you got to tell me some of the stories behind it. And that helps me understand the movement. I'm such a why person. Like, I'm like, but why is it that way? And why does it work that way? And so when I hear the stories, it helps me have the same image that was like the intention behind the movement, you know? And so
exactly,
I think it's beautiful. I think that as artists, we are storytellers, right? We're either telling the story about, well, we're telling the story about the music usually, right? Maybe we're telling a story, we're creating an even more grandiose story, and the music is really like saying, you know, so we're kind of creating, we're embellishing even more. We're creating a bigger story. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's not, you're not just moving to the beat.
Right. Yeah, you're expressing the whole story in your mind. And I love how a different song might be a different story for different people.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I was at a we did a show many years ago, and the organizer put there was one troupe in between. There was two totally different troupes. We were doing Fat Chance belly dance style, and 2 troupes along they did an Oriental piece, and we both danced to Durwood Green, you know, the iconic piece of music. And everyone was horrified. I thought it was awesome, actually. So much so that when we had, was it 2 years ago, we had Christine Adams came out to Sydney, and she said, oh, we should do something together. And I was like, yeah. And I'd played piano for her before, and I had this idea. I was actually going to do a solo which was not an ATS solo, but I was dancing a solo to a piece of music by an Armenian jazz composer called Tigran Hamasyan. Beautiful piece of music. And I said, what if we do this thing? So I danced it to pre-recorded music in an evening gown. And then I sat down at the piano and I played the exact same piece. I played it live. And Christine came out and she did it in full Fat Chance belly dance costume. And it was a bit of a risk because they were right next to each other, but it totally worked.
Oh, I love that. And that's
It
on
totally
YouTube
worked.
somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Somewhere. I
I'll have
feel
to
like
ask
I've
Christine.
seen bits of that, and I don't know if it's just I've just seen the Christine's part, or maybe I saw the two and I didn't realize they went together. Um,
Yeah, it is around somewhere. I'll see if I can find it because it was just I don't know. It's like it's interesting because we danced it both so differently in different costume, and they both worked, but they were entirely different. And
yeah.
we were telling a different story, which is what we're talking about right now.
Very cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
Mm.
actually just used Sherwood Green in a class that I taught. Oh my gosh, maybe it was only like 2 weeks ago. And we were
Mhm.
talking about different sections and whether it's fast or whether it's slow, and why some people take it fast, but why, why Devyani chose to keep it slow right there, and the build up to the fast section. And yeah, and so when two people are dancing to the same song, I mean, with Fat Chance belly dance style, you're probably gonna pull spins out like at the same time or something really dramatic like that. But it's
Right.
really interesting how, yeah, it's a different story in your mind or different memories. Different songs have different memories, um,
Yeah.
for me too. So it
Sure. Hmm.
makes me just think of different experiences or different costumes that I had worn at a different time, and yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
tell a
Yeah. It's
story.
cool. Hmm.
And so, speaking of music, you are both a dancer and a musician. So I don't know if a lot of
Hmm.
people know that. So you play piano and you teach piano.
I
And
do.
then tell us a little bit about your musical side of life, because I think you got a new CD coming out, right?
I
Or a new
yeah, I
album, I guess.
I do. So what happened was 20-year anniversary, and the girls were saying, the troupe was saying, we should do something special. And we before COVID, we were planning actually at the end of the year to do a show where we pull out all our old choreographies. And I was actually compiling them all before COVID hit and was like trying to relearn them and maybe tweak them a little bit. Anyway, but I was like, no, I'm going to do something else. So I decided that I was going to create a new instructional DVD with all our inspirations. So the last one that I did had 12 combinations, and this one has 90. So
90?
90.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's taken me like a year and a half to write the script for it.
Oh my gosh.
And I've got it all like sectioned off. So, movement dialect for FCBD, and then all my flamenco fusion that's really popular, and then our modern fusion and our, Indian inspirations. We've got it all separated for whatever you might like to do, because I like to be very clear about styles and not just kind of willy-nilly throw them all in together. It doesn't always work. And then I was like, hey, I'm gonna, because you have to pay music rights or you have to pay someone to compose for it. And I was like, oh, maybe it's just easier if I just compose the pieces myself. Well, that was a silly idea. No, it wasn't a silly idea. But it's just way more expensive and way more work, but way more worth it. So it started off just me on piano, and my son, he's a professional jazz drummer in Sydney. He's like, oh, Mom, I should play on this track. And so we started playing around with it, and then he was like, we need a saxophone player. Oh, we need a Darabuka player for this one. Oh, we need a sitar for that. Oh, and now we need an upright bass. So now we have like 6 members in the band, and it just kind of grew. And we just finished recording, and it's in the mixing mastering phase now. And I'm really glad the recording's over, because that was just really, really difficult. So yeah, so there will be, hopefully in the next few months, the filming of the DVD will happen in about 6 weeks. So we're working really hard on the content for that, and it's a very interesting process, because for the performance part of the DVD, you always like to put you know, some cool stuff in there. So I'm actually at the moment choreographing to music that I composed and played on, and it's really strange.
Wow.
It's like I'm having to split my brain, and in one of the, like the flamenco track, I wrote it in 12, but now as a dancer I'm thinking of it as in 4, and it's like, I don't know, it's really, it's an interesting process actually.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I often do say that I'm the translator between musicians and dancers. When we've worked with musicians, I'm like, stop arguing, guys. No, you're talking about the same thing.
Right.
It's okay, you know.
Yeah, because we have
Yeah, so,
dancer music speak, and then like musician music speak, right?
right, yeah, and often you're talking about the same thing. You're just thinking of it differently, you know. And it's, yes, it's interesting. So yeah, I kind of feel like my everything's come full circle in a way.
So how
Yeah.
is it easy? So okay, I'm trying to think about this because it blows my mind that you wrote the music, played the music, created the dance. I mean, like all of the things. So when you are
I
listening
didn't
to
make
the,
the costumes.
oh well, there's that. Oh well, slacker. Forget it then. Is there like this? Okay, so as a dancer that is expressing what you hear in the music, which might not necessarily be what the, in a normal situation, which might not necessarily be exactly what the musician was intending or heard, you know, because as dancers, we kind of pick up on maybe some different things that the musician
Mm,
like, but didn't you hear this amazing drum roll? And we were like, but we like this beat better, you know, or whatever.
right.
So
Yeah.
as a dancer playing or dancing with you, the music that you are playing, are you only hearing the music the way that you wanted to hear it, or are you having to like how does that work in your mind? Are you able to take yourself out of the musician side and say, oh, look at this part that we can do in the music, let's make hip bumps here or something like that? Or is it specifically like, this is the way that the song was written, and listen to the beat, and here's where the dramatic parts are, and so we need to do this with the music as dancers?
Right. Yeah, not, I'm not totally able to take myself out of it. No, it's very difficult. And when I'm at the moment, because it's still in the mixing mastering phase and not all of it's being glued together, all I can hear is my mistakes. It's like,
Oh,
oh God, I bunged up that note. Oh, that sounds terrible. Um, but like some of the tracks are very, very intricate and difficult. And so yeah, maybe what I originally thought of as a musician is not necessarily what ended up happening as a dancer.
mm-hmm.
Um, yes, it's like two totally different processes, and that's a really hard question to answer. Um, so yeah, no, it doesn't always. I'm not always choreographing it to the way I intended,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say that I'm really happy with the finished product. I've actually finished all the choreographies now, and I had no idea when I was composing them how they were going to look. None at all. I was just like, just was thinking about speed more than anything. Can't be too fast, can't be too slow, and general vibe. And other than that, I didn't think about it at all until I started doing it.
Nice. Yeah, you just
Yeah,
let that energy flow, like let that inspiration
yeah,
kind of go through.
and it's looking really, really good. And there was, you know, I was a little bit concerned because they're all kind of, some of them are long tracks, like 6 minutes long. And I was like, oh, what are we going to do? But it's actually because I know the sections so well, that's been a bonus, because it means, well, in this section, we'll do this instead. So it's not just the same, oh, yeah, 3 people come out, 3 people come out, 3 people come out. Oh, we'll do this kind of shape in this section, or this kind of shape. So I guess in that way, I've got a leg up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it definitely
So,
brings a whole new element of dancers should know their music. Like I
oh,
think
yeah.
step that game
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not so great when you know the music too well either. It's like, you know, it's yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting process. It really is. Yeah.
Very cool. But I love the fact that you did all of that and then the dance, and I can't wait to see it all come together, like how you express your own music, like
Yeah, yeah. I can't wait to actually see it like properly. Well, because at the moment we're still learning it all. And we are going to have on the 30th of January, we're going to have a live virtual albums CD, like, well, it's not a DVD anymore, downloadable,
no.
whatever you call them, um, launch. So I won't be dancing much, which I'm kind of upset about now that I'm putting all the choreographies together. I'm like, oh, I can't dance to them.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple I can because I'm not on every single track. So there's a couple that I can. But yeah, that's going to be like a live online show with the whole Ghawazi Caravan and the whole band.
Nice. Oh my gosh, I wrote it down so I can like put it on my calendar, and I'll put it on the events page and in the newsletter and stuff. And so I'll just
Yeah, it'll be fun. And I think because, we have so many friends all over the world, I think we'll have it available for like a week so you can watch it when it's, comfortable for you at the right time zone and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's definitely been a challenge with all the online stuff because, like, just planning the interview, you were like, okay, let's do it Saturday morning. And I'm like, that means Friday afternoon?
Yeah.
Like, what day is this? So we'll definitely have to, over here in the US, have to catch it probably afterwards.
Yeah. I think it'll be like Friday night for you guys because it's going to be, or Saturday morning. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Well, it's looking like here in the US, we're probably going to still be at home in January. So it might not be too big of a deal for us to jump on and watch. So
yeah.
I'm going to check in with the comments
Yeah.
and just see. So hello,
Hi.
Ross.
Hi, Eileen.
Linda, hello everybody. Hello, Jennifer. Jennifer says, looking forward to the new DVD. Yeah, what would you call it? The new download? Because it's not really a CD anymore. People are saying,
no.
I'm calling it. We've gone back to album now.
Downloadable DVD. I don't know if that's correct.
I don't either. If anybody knows, if anybody out there knows like the correct term or the new term or whatever for like downloading a DVD.
Yeah. Download for. No, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be awkward.
I caught myself the other day like talking about rewinding a movie, and I was like, I don't even think that's a thing anymore. Rewinding a movie. So definitely language is changing around technology for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to keep up with all of that. So new instructional DVD coming out, filming coming up, 90 different combinations, 90 different combinations. And it sounds like
combinations or like concepts, or formations or whatever. Yeah.
And so it sounds like you have them organized in like all your little Devi compartments, right? Like you can learn this and you can learn this. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then CD also.
Yeah.
And when is this? Or CD, yeah. And so the CD is going to be available maybe before the DVD, or you're going to do a combination launch?
Actually, I mean, they're going to, I'm definitely going to be releasing them together, but one may be available before the other one, and that would probably be the CD, I guess.
Right. Okay.
But that's downloadable too. This, I don't know, what do you call that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Down, yeah, we're gonna have to come up. There has to be a term for that. We'll see if anybody says. Somebody says digital instructional. Oh, Lacey, hi, Lacey. Digital download. Digital download. Oh, well, there we go. Did we lose Debbie? There you go. There you are.
Yeah. Sorry. My son is like constantly trying to call me, and I can't talk.
Yeah, you want to pick it up? Tell him we're talking about him. We're talking about him right now.
Hang on. All right, hang on. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Okay, so I'll check in with the comments here. Lacey, downloadable, digital download. It's a DD and not a DVD. I don't know. Digital download. Gina says 90 new things. Can't wait. And Jennifer says, whatever we call it, I'm sure it's going to be splendid.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sleep for a week afterwards when it's done.
Man, I'm telling you. So your COVID situation has not been like just sitting back and just hanging out? It's been
No, it was for a little bit. We went into lockdown, and so like we had a lot of we have a big gig every year, which is called Winter Magic Festival in June. We had a lot of festivals that cancelled. I had gigs with my disco band that were cancelled. So all my rehearsals for my bands and my troupe, everything was just cancelled. So no one was doing anything. So it was a little bit chill at that point, and that's when I started tidying up the script, because the script is so at the moment about 110 pages long.
wow. So you also
Yeah.
wrote a book.
Yeah, basically. It's basically a book. It's true. Yeah. Because I think I don't want to. I mean, I'm getting used to teaching in this kind of format now where you just chat, but I always get worried that I'm going to miss something, or perhaps even maybe use too many words.
Mm.
And so I like to do it how the Fat Chance Belly Dance DVDs are done, where there is a script. You go there, you say the script beforehand, and you basically do what is on there, and it's then that way I know that every single little thing I've said is correct. I don't accidentally say right arm instead of left arm, or I can just really go over it, and I'm just particular like that.
I understand. I'm looking right now at my 3 pages of notes for the class that I teach on Wednesday. And I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
still, after teaching all these years, I type out every single class because it helps me in my mind, like just get my stuff together. Now,
Mm-hmm.
there's no guarantee I'm going to say left when I mean right, but it'll at least, the plan is there.
Yeah, exactly. And even when I go, like when I'm did the videoing for FCBDU, I go through everything, and sometimes I do. I don't think I did for yours. Let me know if I did. But even then, I've said the wrong thing. But what's so great about editing is that if I've said the wrong thing, I'll just say, no, I meant right leg instead of left leg. Next to it, and people will get it. So
Yeah.
I like doing it that way.
Yeah. And I think people are pretty, when you don't have your students in front of you and you're having to basically get everything that you can possibly think of that they would need to hear, but leave out the stuff that can sometimes be confusing if they're not actually doing something
Yeah.
a different way or whatever. It can be a challenge. So getting up in front of a camera and yeah, just
It
teaching
really.
for 2 hours or something and hoping that you don't make any kind of mistake or mislead somebody. That takes a lot of planning,
Yeah.
I feel like, if you want to.
Oh, it's true. I mean, I actually taught my first live class on the weekend since February. And I was a little bit nervous at first. It went really well. It sold out. It was great. And so much easier in a way, because the students will prompt you to remember to say things. You'll see something, oh, yeah, well, don't forget to lift your elbows, or whatever it happens to be. And you're having to remember that all on your own when you've got no one to bounce off. And it's also hard. I find it hard to sort of stay present and upbeat when there's no one else in the room.
Yes. Yeah.
It's
I
and
agree as
you
well.
having to remind yourself.
I have to film. So when I'm teaching my live classes, I have to have my camera. I have to be able to see myself in the camera. And I found that if I can see myself in the camera, then I can just pretend like it's another student. And I tend to be a little more, animated and a little more energy. And if I can't see myself at all, I don't know. It's like you're pulling it out of yourself and you're giving it away. But I have to be able to see a reaction. I don't know. It's like I'm pulling the energy out of myself, but I'm sharing it with myself in the camera, and that has been helpful for me. So
yeah, interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't been teaching Zoom classes because of my internet situation where I need to dance is not great. So I've been just doing, pre-recorded and then editing it and then releasing it that way. Yeah, it's just, look, it's a new world, and it's better than no dance at all, right?
That's right. And everybody's been so great and so
I know.
just open to whatever, like all the classes on FCBDU were filmed, well, except for the ones from the vault, that from the Fat Chance studio that are out there. They've all been filmed in the instructors' homes, in their home
Yeah.
studios or their living rooms, or something that they've had to kind of create, as a recording space. And I actually really like that because
Hmm.
you can see their personality in the space
Yeah.
they're in, and then they're
Hmm.
feeling more comfortable because they're in their space. Like I was telling you the other day in an email, like I love the way that your space is laid out for the FCBDU videos, because it's like it's like not it's not distracting. It's very clean and crisp and clear, and yet it's
Yeah,
still
but I had to
like
clean it for
homey.
an hour and a half beforehand.
Well, it
It
looks great.
doesn't look like that all the time.
Yeah, well, it looks great. I'm sure a lot of us have to like move all the stuff out of the way before we like teach a class every week. So
Yeah. And it's true. It takes me, like, before I set up to do the filming, it takes me about 2 hours just to make sure I get the camera in the right place, and that you can't see the light in the mirror, and you can't, it's just, it's just it's a process, because it's actually my bedroom.
oh, really? Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, that's actually my bedroom. So then once I do a whole bunch of filming, then I just kind of pack up all the stuff and move everything back in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a process, and anyone that's been doing it knows what I'm talking about. It looks like you've actually got a whole space there set up constantly now.
I'm really, really lucky. When we bought this house, there's an extra place down. I have my own studio, so I actually have this setup, if you can see it, and it takes a lot of work. I have 4 different lights right now because of the camera that I'm using
Mm-hmm.
has to have the extra lighting, and it's definitely a process. So I'm just grateful that the students have been so forgiving, of like, oh, the internet just dropped all of a sudden,
Yeah,
or oh, can
yeah,
you not hear the music for 2 minutes? So it's been really,
yeah,
really nice
yeah.
to kind of let go of the need to feel like your class has to be perfect, because it
Mm.
can't be. Like in a perfect world, yeah, we would be all in a studio dancing together, and I could see your body and remind you, like, engage the low belly or lift your elbows or don't forget to smile and all of those things, and
Yeah, yeah,
kind of have to
yeah.
work together here.
But and because I've been teaching my piano students on Zoom, because I'm in my music room right now, and the internet's not too bad here at all. And it's the same thing. The Zoom's not really made for. It's made for the human voice.
Right.
So when you're trying to teach piano, the bass often drops out, and it's but I think everyone around the world is just grateful to have any kind of connection. So if it means, you get to do things you love, whether it be play piano or dance or whatever, in any way they possibly can, they'll take it. And it's no one's fault. It's just the world we're living in right now.
Right. It's the new temporary normal, hopefully temporary normal.
Yeah. And things like FCBDU, I think, has been great for people, because they can go to that one place, all the FCBD geeks,
Yeah, exactly.
it's got
Totally.
everything I need right there,
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
we just got to adapt.
We
That's
do,
what
we
we're
do for
doing.
sure. And I know a lot of people, I mean, that brings up a good point too, because I know a lot of people want to still stay connected, but maybe they don't have a place in their house that they can really dance, or they have kids that they're trying to keep up with, and so they can't, commit to a full class. And so, I've just been reminding people that that's okay. Even if you just sit down and watch a class and take notes, or
Mhm.
just sit down and watch a class and just enjoy it, and just imagine
Yeah.
that you were taking it, and that's totally fine. So one of the many things I love about FCBDU is that we have costuming videos that you can watch and get inspiration if you want to, and makeup videos that you can watch and get inspiration. We have lectures, of course, drills and classes, and flow classes that you can just watch somebody else dance if you want to. So we have a lot of students that they come in and they are continuing their education, even though they're not necessarily motivated to move a lot right now.
Yeah.
That's completely
Well,
fine.
I think it's a great way, because I actually feel like, even though I did, learn from Carolina and Karen, I feel like that most of my learning was done from those VHSs because you can only learn so much when you're living overseas and you've got a few weeks or a few months to go and learn. I mean, how much can you do? But I actually learn really well from either online stuff or videos. I mean, I like videos, or I think you can watch your FCBDU videos more than once, right?
Oh yeah, it's however long, however many times on your phone, on your iPad, in bed, however, yeah, full access,
Yeah,
everything.
and I love that because because for me, like I said, not catching everything in the live classes and not knowing how they all knew how to turn, I can only retain so. Actually a pretty slow learner, I'll tell you, and I can only retain so much information at the one time. So for me to be able to go back and watch it again and go, oh, I didn't catch that last time. I'll make a note of that.
Mhm.
And even actually have a little, it's a green book. If I ever lost this green book, I would cry. I've actually transcribed everything from the Fat Chance Belly Dance DVDs,
Same, yeah.
like basically word for word. And I've got that now, and plus I still have VHSs, Um, and yeah, so that's one great thing I think about the online learning is that it's not like a class that you go and then it's gone. Oh, that's great, of course.
Hmm.
The upside is that you can watch again and again.
Right, right. We have a lot of
Hmm.
teachers too that are FCBDU, have an FCBDU subscription. And before they teach, they come out there and they see how our other instructors are teaching. Because you can take a class from Carolina on Taksim, and you can take a class from me on Taksim, and then you can take a class from Anita or Kelly or Liz or whomever on Taksim. And of course, we're all ultimately getting you to the same place. We all have our own personality behind it. And so somebody
Hmm.
might hear, just like if you go to a class with, two teachers might say they might
Yeah,
read the script, right? But
yeah,
somebody's going to be like, I like what she said. And it's like, she said the same thing.
I know.
But you just pick it up from a different perspective. So we
Yeah,
do have a lot of teachers that, come in, they'll watch the class again before they teach it, also to get inspiration and kind of like, feel like a little pep talk, and
yeah,
yeah, just a different way to
yeah.
explain something.
Yeah, it's really true. And I think they've done studies on that. And like you said, you can say exactly the same words, but it has something to do with intonation too. So, the way I might express the exact same sentence, people might not get it. And then you might say the same thing. And for whatever reason, people will hear that, or some people will and some people won't. So it's really interesting how the mind works, and when you take in information and when it's too much. So yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, but the
Mm.
online classes, like you said, like the VHS, because I still, of course, have the DVDs and I've transcribed everything, but I can go back to a DVD, even though I remember writing this stuff down. And it's like a movie where you catch
Hmm.
something different and you're like,
Exactly.
oh, she did say that in the DVD. Whoops.
Uh-huh.
Or something
Yeah.
like that. So,
Yeah. My partner Anthony's even said to me many times, like, haven't you watched that like already? Like, it's like, yeah, but I just got to double check.
yeah,
Just make
yeah, yeah.
sure.
Just to
And
make
you miss things, yeah, or you forget things. It's like a Chinese whispers. You think you got it and you do it a certain way, and then you'll see Carolina and she'll go, "That's not how it is." I'm sure that's how it was. And then you go back and go, "Oh yeah, that I changed that somewhere along the line."
right, right.
Yeah,
Somewhere in my mind, it transformed into something.
yeah, and
Mhm.
you don't realize, especially if you've been doing it for a long time. Or Chinese whispers. I actually just did some filming of my own. I haven't released it yet. And how for instance, how Karen Gurman originally showed me the Sarah turn, how they used to do it is different to how they're doing it now. You know,
Yeah.
things change too, and it's interesting. And a lot of the time, I think they change for the better.
Hmm.
And then other times I'm like, oh, I like them both. I like the original way, or
Yeah.
yeah,
I think,
interesting.
yeah, and I think that they evolve in a way that, and when you were talking about how you went to San Francisco and Carolina didn't really travel, it made me think about this was that, maybe there was a specific way that everybody just did it because they had been following Carolina or doing it that way. And then the more people in different countries that start doing it, the more body shapes that start doing it, the more age groups that start doing it, you kind of really have to start defining oh, not everybody can, not everybody has that internal rotation in their hips that Carolina has, or not everybody has this other thing that Carolina
Exactly.
has. And so it had
Yeah.
to kind of get more refined and defined so that everybody was getting the same information. And what's fascinating to me is that, and I talked about this with Soul last week, everything's taught in English, at least originally, the fat chant stuff is taught in English, and words mean different things in different different languages. I know with my online classes, most of my students are international, and we'll get into these fun conversations because I will say something and somebody will say, what does that
What?
mean? Right. Or that means this other thing in German. And it's like, oh, so identifying what word works internationally to get the same effect is like fascinating to me.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I know. I was in a funny situation in China where, I'd say you'd have to, pull your arm back and, like, you show me some of your armpit. And every time I said the word armpit, they would laugh. I said, what's going on? So I asked the translator, what's so funny? And she said, well, it's kind of like saying, show me your ass.
Oh.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. So yeah. And also, like, I think we were talking about on when we were emailing, I talk a little bit about like arm shapes and arm lengths in particular, because my arms are really long. So I get a lot of questions about how do you do that in the Medusa or whatever. And it's like, well, and then I'll have a look at that student. I'll be like, well, you're not going to be able to do that because
Right.
you got a different, your body and your arms are different to mine. And there are certain things that I can't do. It looks stupid on me. So always going back to the shape, the arm shape of Fat Chance Belly Dance style. And then wherever that falls on you, it's,
Right.
going to be different for me. It's going to be different for you. That was a really great realization that I had with Carolina when we were going over the A squat. And I was trying to do what she was doing. And on me, it just looked like I was doing this. And I was getting really frustrated. And she said, just stop. She said, you're never going to look like me and she actually said to me, you should maybe like look at Mega a little bit more because my body shape was a little bit more similar to hers than Carolina's. And that was when I really started thinking about arms and then looking all the students in my troupe and in my classes and really started talking about that to help them find the correct shape for their body. And it's really just about finding the shape in the arms and then just seeing where does that fall on you and thinking about, like not curling your shoulders forward and, because I think a lot of people, like with the Medusa, for instance, they'll see how far my arms go and they'll kind of do this and then everything here collapses and then it's like, well, no, just keep it pinned back the whole time and see how far you can go.
Yes. That was the whole thing that I did taught these series of classes called Discover Your ATS. Like your was all caps because I would see students trying to look like their favorite dancers and then it would like they would be hurting in that movement or it didn't feel right for them or they couldn't and it was like let that go. Like don't I know that you love the way that they are dancing, but like embody your own movement. Like and that's why I love anatomy because I'm like, how does that joint move? Okay, let's all move that joint that way. Now see how it looks different on everybody? That's okay. It doesn't have to be the same.
Exactly.
So I love that you bring that up in the videos that you film for FCBD also because you're like, now not everybody can do this and here's the option for that.
Yeah, and well, it's something that comes up in my teaching all the time because I got a really weird body. Like it's like I got a really short torso, like it's super short but really really long legs, and I got these really long arms, and so I was doing things that felt comfortable on me, and then people go, what? And then I'd say, well, just do this, and then I look at them and realize, oh, it's actually impossible for them to do that. And so, being able to find a way, maybe if I had a more of a regular shaped body, I wouldn't have noticed as early as I did. But it was great. And I found that so fascinating. I find that so fascinating. So even when I have students that have just come to any kind of belly dance for the first time, I like talk about that straight away.
Yes.
And I would also have like some of my more advanced dancers would often stand up front, and I'd say, you know what, you don't have to follow me. Like, you know, if your body's a little bit more like Christy's or like Rachel's or whoever, like follow them instead, you know. Yeah, it's really interesting. I find it really, really interesting.
I do too. That's why I'm like, I love the science. I mean, it's, of course I love the art. It's art.
Yeah,
And I love the science behind it because
yeah,
as a yoga instructor, I love when people say, wow, if I do it that way, it doesn't hurt me anymore, you know, or I did never thought I'd
yeah,
be able to do that, but I didn't realize I just needed a little strength in this area or a little flexibility in this area. And wow, look at my shimmy now, you know, kind of a thing.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's great. Well, actually, yeah, I actually teach a workshop called the Science of ATS, or Fat Chance Belly Dance Style, and yeah, we talk all about that, like how to find. Yeah, same kind of thing. I've been teaching the same thing, but just kind of, you know, you find your own way as you're teaching and progressing, and you realize, and that's when it becomes so interesting and fascinating, the style, you know.
yes. Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. And there's just always learning, I feel like, to do. So, um, always learning, always growing. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You're always learning, picking up something new. Otherwise, yeah, nothing changes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, and don't progress.
And I mean, another reason that I'm excited about your classes on FCBDU is, like on the DVD, you can only cover so much, right? And these were and I have volume 9 right here. Like the movements on volume 9, for a lot of people, that was the first time they ever saw those movements from you. So I'm sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like then you start teaching these movements outside of your troupe who like just learned them along with you or helped create them or whatnot, and people start asking questions that maybe you didn't have to think about before because everybody just did it in your troupe. And
Right.
so I know we had talked before, like during the private lessons, where you were saying, like, you know, I wish I had gone into more detail. Now that I know, I wish I had gone into more detail in these different things. And so I love that.
Yeah.
And on the courses that you created for us, that you go into more detail in those things as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the like before Volume 9, there were some countries, Germany, I think, was one of them, where they had been doing it for a few years already, but other countries they didn't know about it at all. But then once the DVD came out, I started noticing little things, and you know, and it's interesting because the different places had different issues that I had to deal with. And it's like, oh wow, if I'd only just said that little thing on the DVD, but there wasn't time. I mean, that's a double disc. There's a lot of stuff on that, and it's sometimes a DVD or a downloadable, whatever it is. Um, there's it's not the forum for all that detail.
Right.
You know, it's not really I mean, it's just there to get your foot in the door with the steps and get you drilling it. And then I think for things like getting all the nitty gritty, that's when you do your online classes, your privates, FCBDU,
Mhm.
to get all the nitty gritty details. You know, it's not really the place for it. You know, you can't say all that stuff. Imagine if you had to say all that stuff, if Mega had to say all that stuff, and Jen had to say, like, it just would have been like too long.
Right, because you could go a whole movement in one, like an hour, and you could just sit there with one movement and keep going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, I feel like I think it's a good. I think it was the perfect amount of information in the DVD because you don't want
Yeah.
people thinking about these little tiny like just get them moving and get the shapes, get the movement in their
Exactly.
body. Then later on, you can worry about what's my right pinky finger doing. Like, don't worry
Right.
about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what you're gonna get on the stuff that I created for FCBDU. Like all you like geeks out there that want to know what your little pinky is doing in the Medusa when you're turning, but just before the turn, not after the turn. All that
Yes.
sort of stuff.
I know.
Yeah.
I still have it pulled up and I just keep playing it over and over because I mean, I'm so lucky I get to take all these classes. So I just keep taking classes over and over again. And then of course, as I get to edit, I'm going to check in with the comments real fast just so I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
And so Lacey says, it isn't busy like mine, LOL. And I think she's talking about her space. So Lacey teaches on FCBDU as well. And Lacey's space, I feel like is so lacy. It's not, I don't think it's cluttery lacy. I think it's adorable and I think it's great. And plus, I know I've been to her house and I think I've stayed in that room. So I know exactly how she has the setup going, but she has all the little things out that kind of make her feel really great, like inspire her.
I love that.
So, yeah.
I really like that because you get to, I think on a DVD, it's like a little bit more clinical. You have a set. I love the fact that, you get to see all these people's homes now. And I don't know, it's a little bit like watching Rear Window or something,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
get to see inside people's homes.
Sometimes you see an animal, sometimes you see a cat or a dog.
Oh yeah, my cat Koshko often makes an appearance actually on my videos.
Yeah.
But I like that, and I think that a lot of people when they're getting to meet their favorite teachers, they always have this like superhuman view of them, like they're, we have to cook and clean the bathroom and fold the washing like everybody else, and I think it's nice. I think it's nice.
Yeah, it makes you, I think since we can't be physically connected, it at least
Yeah,
helps you connect with them on a more, on a more,
human level.
yeah, exactly, like a more human way, a
Yeah,
more human
yeah,
connection. It's like, oh, I
yeah.
mean, there's a course on the site where it's Jen Sardina. I don't know if you've met Jen. She's teaching sword,
Hmm.
and at the very end, you can see her kind of looking over to the side, where there's like somebody there, but you're not really sure. And it's her little daughter that like Jen was doing the
Oh,
cool down, and her daughter wanted to come and like do the cool down with her, So at
that's
the end of this
cute.
class, you see her daughter coming in and like stretching and watching her mom to make sure she's doing it like her mom. It's adorable. So
Yeah, I really like that. I really,
mhm.
really like that. I remember the first, I think a lot of you guys know Rob from Canada. I don't know if Rob's
Yeah.
watching or not. But the very first time we connect, I don't know, he asked me a question on Facebook. And I think my response was, hang on, I'm just finishing mopping the floor or something like that. He's like, oh, you're mopping the floor? Oh my God.
Debbie mops her own floor. Oh my gosh.
So I was like, oh yeah. So I think it's nice to, just have that more, we're all in the same boat, at the moment. COVID's weird,
Exactly.
yeah.
Diana Lee says, I'm grateful I have access. I can learn from so many teachers constantly that living here in Puerto Rico, I didn't have the opportunity to. So that's a great point, Diana. The fact that so many people are now online means that more people around the world can learn from people that maybe wasn't a possibility before. And that's actually one of
Yeah.
the reasons I wanted to start FCBDU. So I'll make this kind of quick. But last summer, I started teaching online. And the reason I started teaching online was it's really hard to get rental space here in Portland. I mean, I live in like a belly dance, like it's not San Francisco, but it's not quite far behind. Like Rachel's here and Sharon Kihara's here and Sedona's here and Henna's here and Colette's here. Like the studios are full, which is
Yeah.
great. And also just not getting my name. I wasn't really getting my name out there. So I would, apply to a place and they're like, oh, well, nobody really, I mean, it's the harsh reality. Like nobody really knows you. Sorry, we can't, sorry,
But
but
I know
no
you,
thanks.
like, I live on the other
I'll
side
put
of
that
the
on my
world.
resume next time. Debbie knows me.
Yeah, I know you, yes.
I thought, well, if I taught online, maybe people can kind of see what I have to offer, and that's the way to put yourself out there. So something that I love about FCBDU is I'm bringing in people that maybe a lot of people haven't studied with before. Of course, people have studied with you, but they study with you on the DVD, and so now they get like a little extra of that, right? And people
Yeah.
haven't gotten the opportunity really to study with, like Kelly Beeston did an amazing ZIL course for FCBDU. So now they can kind of get a taste of Kelly. The same with Liz. Like Liz doesn't travel very much. She has a full-time,
Yeah.
job. So she's on there. And so it's just bringing in these instructors that not everybody gets to study with, but that
Yeah.
are amazing instructors. And it's like the world needs to know about them, so.
Yeah. No, it's a great forum, and I this time last year I'm never going online, not doing it. I hate technology. And when COVID hit, I did have a bit of a meltdown. I was like, oh, because all my everything was canceled. I was supposed to go to France, and all this stuff was supposed to happen. And you know what? The worst part was that I had to learn everything really quickly. that was the worst part. But now that it's done, it's not so bad. I do miss, like, I really enjoyed teaching the class last weekend, so I do miss seeing people. But this is kind of fun, We can do this more often,
Hanging out and just checking in with the community too.
Yeah.
Lacey says,
I mean, like, again, it's better than nothing. Yeah, what does Lacey say?
Oh, so Lacey says, yeah, I feel us being in each other's home really helps provide the extra connection we are all missing. Yeah,
I think so.
Like, we're having tea with Devi, and
it's breakfast here. It's breakfast time. Yeah,
breakfast time there. Tea. I almost brought a cocktail in with me because I was like, it's after 12, but then I knew it was morning for you, and so maybe next time we should like say, okay, we're doing champagne because it's morning.
Yeah, but like I told you, it's my anniversary today, so I'm having a day off.
Happy anniversary, by the way.
I know. 34 years.
And so you're going on a picnic, is that right?
Well, and I don't know what we're going to do. It's kind of a bit raining outside, so I don't know but it's on and off, so I don't know. We haven't decided yet, so when I get off, we'll think about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't get married or anything. We forgot to do that, but,
yeah,
it doesn't matter after 34 years,
I know, right? It's like, people ask, I'm not 34, I'm at 22.
Oh, you're right behind us.
Like, around there. Can't remember. 22, I think. And so now it's kind of like, what are we gonna do for our anniversary? We're gonna make pizza.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what happens. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. And so Sue says, happy anniversary, Debbie. So
thanks, joining us. I haven't seen you for ages. Hey, how you doing?
And okay, so I want to make sure that we cover everything. So 90 different concepts / combos / movements in your new DVD digital download that will be coming out in the next few months, as well as a new album that's all music that you've composed and created, and then they can watch you actually dancing to it in the DVD. And then January 30th, you all are having a big live streaming online show with the band and the dancers for is this your big 20-year anniversary release of all of the things?
Exactly. Yeah, it was supposed to all happen like at the end of this year, but COVID kind of halted things, and now we're in a bit of a bottleneck, so that's why things are a little bit stressful. Like nothing much happened, and then it's like, it can all happen now. So it's just push things back a little bit, but that's okay. We just have to go with the flow,
Right. That's definitely taught us this year is don't be attached. Non-attachment, right? Aparigraha. I don't remember how to say it in Sanskrit, but like the whole concept of non-attachment.
That's a hard one, isn't it?
For sure.
But it's So 30th of January is the day, and as things come to hand, I'll be making announcements, and I don't even know how to do. I wouldn't even know how to do this. Put a Zoom thing live on Facebook. So I'm gonna, pay someone to do all that. Just put it out there.
That's the best thought. And there are dancers. I can hook you up because there are dancers that were stage managers for different shows, and now they're not doing those shows. So they have taught themselves the technology and how to create and manage the online shows with like the different cameras and different live streaming and stuff. So there's definitely people out there that are kind of changing their skill set to match the current needs. So I'm sure you can find somebody.
I found a guy who's like, because the main thing, because we have live music, the main thing is the sound's got to be good.
Gosh,
like we can't have any delay or anything, or just the sound's just got to be good. So that's just like beyond me. Anyway, we have a guy who knows what he's doing, apparently. All the musicians tell me he's the guy, so...
Awesome. Well, by January, everybody will be pros at it anyways, so...
Oh, yeah, that's right. And hopefully technology will just be even that much better by then,
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be, I know that we're all having to deal with Zoom right now, and then the Zoom sound challenges, but I feel like there's probably going to be a big uptick in new opportunities or new platforms that we could use specifically for dance teachers, because I'm on a lot of forums that are for yoga instructors and like Zumba instructors and movement instructors in general, and everybody's having the same challenges. So it's not just a belly dance situation. Like,
no,
teachers of
No, that's
all
right.
movement and music and everything. Everybody's having the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, yeah,
it's going to be great.
yeah. There's going to be some dancer slash musician slash, computer nerd out there that's going to like, figure it all out.
Revolutionize. Right. Yeah. In the meantime, we're all having to, yeah, just learn. I mean, I've learned so much about technology that I never really thought I was going to have to
Mm-hmm.
learn, but there we go.
Yeah. Here
Learning.
we go. You just gotta move with it.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we
Uh,
do. There's some more questions.
yeah. Safira Dances says by interacting online now, when we meet in person, we'll be friends and family instead of slightly creepy strangers.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
True.
good
We're
point.
making, look at all the friends we're making online, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Good point. Good point. How do you invest? Thanks, guys.
And
Aw.
Lene says we're looking forward to your new digital download, Debbie. It's a Debbie digital download. That's what it's
Oh
called.
God, that's like a mouthful. Say that really fast 10 times.
I'm embarrassed. I don't think I can. Debbie digital
Yeah.
download. Yeah. So that'll be yeah, digital download.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I think we're pretty much, I mean, like I don't even know how long we've been going. I could just hang out all day, but I know that it's your anniversary, so we definitely want to make sure that we're careful of your
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you that you were a part of this and wanted to be a part of FCBDU. I feel like, there's of course a lot going on in the world, and there are instructors teaching all over the world in different platforms online, and it can sometimes be a little overwhelming as far as like, where do you go to learn? And there's so many different options, and I get overwhelmed if I get too many options. So I find that if people can just go, many people, maybe they think this way, like can go to one place and just take classes from a variety of instructors, right? And maybe somebody hasn't taken a class from you before and they go to FCBDU and they're like, I really resonate with this instructor. Then they can go to your website and take all of your other classes that you have to offer.
Yeah.
So it's like a little taste of it as well.
Yeah, it's a great idea that you've come up with, and it totally makes sense. And also for people that, just love everything Fat Ted's belly dance style,
Right.
they can take, like you say, take all, the same class from all the different instructors and get all the, the different bits of information that's the same information but said in a slightly different way.
Right.
You'll get it, It's a really interesting process.
When I was first telling Carolina about it, she was like, yes, what can I do to help? I was like, I just want your blessing and making sure that it's okay to do it. And she's like, whatever I need to do, I am there, girl. I got your back. So she's loving it as well. So the term she used today was she's endorsing FCBDU. So I was like, okay, great. That's perfect. So,
awesome.
yeah.
I actually really like the name too, FCBDU.
That was her idea.
Yeah, I really like it.
Good,
I was thinking about it. I don't know why I was thinking about it at 3:00 this morning, but I was just popped into my head in that semi-state. It's a really cool name. It's good.
Some people weren't sure what the U stood for, so I had to clarify that it was like, it could be definitely like you or community.
Yeah,
but it's
that's
like,
why I like it.
Yeah, it could be whatever.
That's why I like it. It's university, but it's also FCBDU.
Exactly.
I like that. It's cool.
Well, Debbie, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you spent your morning with me today. Your morning, my afternoon here with me today.
Yeah, same. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
It's been fun.
And so those of you that are members or subscribers to FCBDU, so we have a monthly subscription. It's $25 a month. Right now there are over 40 courses out there, and some of those courses are multiple hours, like 4-6 hours. Some of them are 2 hours. Some of them are like 20 minutes if you want a quick introduction to something or a quick little drill. And we're growing all the time. So this past week, of course, I'm releasing a lot of mega stuff out there for free for now. But 2 to 3 classes every week, plus live classes, and we have our first guest instructor teaching a live workshop next month, which I won't spill the beans on that one yet. So your monthly subscription for $25 a month will get you all of that, plus everything that's coming out soon, plus Debbie's courses that are coming out starting in November. You can definitely purchase the courses individually as well. Let's say you like one instructor, or you want to test out one concept, or you only want to take these drill classes. You can definitely do that as well, but you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Is that an American term? Bang for your buck?
Yeah, maybe it's American, but we use it. It makes
Okay.
sense here.
Yeah, great. Bang for your buck with a monthly subscription. So check it out, fcbdu.com. Debbie, thank you so much. I'm so excited to take your classes over and over and over again. And I hope that you have a wonderful anniversary. And I'm looking forward to your CD and your DVD, and we'll just forever call them that.
I know. We're old school. Yeah, thank you
Oh,
so much for
wonderful.
having me, and thanks everyone for chiming in. And yeah, if you have any questions, I guess, how do you do it? You just type it there, and we can answer them later.
Yeah, type it there. We'll answer them. And I'll link to a few things below, like Debbie's website and stuff. And of course, I'll have all of that out there on FCBDU as well. So,
Cool.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank
Deanna.
you so much. Have a great day. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
You too. Bye bye.